Record. Excellent. So perfect. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining the webinar on a Friday afternoon. We were in touch with some students from London School of Economics, London Business School, etc. And we realized that there's a massive information gap with regards to what's happening in the real estate market here in London specifically, but broadly across the UK. And how does that impact your home search move? A lot of people have either finished their studies, they need to get out of their student accommodation halls, student residence halls, or there are others who are coming in from overseas for their master's program starting now or next month, and they are kind of equally lost. So what we have done here is we have put together a presentation for all of you to just go through quickly. We'll have some time for Q&A at the end. So by all means, please keep adding your questions in the chat here. We'll pick it up at the end. If not, then no worries. Send us a message and we can answer your questions separately as well. So with that, let me just share my screen. So the big theme is September is here. And as we have seen, hundreds, probably thousands of people across the country still house hunting when they needed to move out already, probably last week. So this session is designed to help you cover all of the challenges. So I'm Mayank, I'm the founder of Avasa AI, which we'll talk about in just one moment. And with me, I have Octavian here as well, who you will hear from in just one moment. So we both created this startup with a very simple view to help tenants find a property super easily. Quick background about me. So similar to a lot of you on this call or those who will watch later on, I did a master's degree, but in Paris, not in the UK. Then went from there to join investment banking, moved to London at that point, moved from there to Morgan Stanley, then onwards to India to create a startup, and then came back to the UK and created this startup. All along this way, I stayed either in student residence halls or private accommodation. And every single place, whether it was France, UK, or India, had massive problems with home search. So this was really the latest experience that we had with home search. So when my wife and we came back from India, we had to do all the usual things with home search, right? So online research, sitting on a screen daily, day in, day out, calling and emailing estate agents non-stop, especially kind of frustrating when they don't call you back or they just ignore you altogether. When we got the viewings, they were always during the office hours. So either we had to skip work or phone calls or whatever else we were doing. And then negotiating against an industry that has existed for 100+ years, right? So they have their own tricks, they have their own ways of doing things, which are oftentimes inscrutable to people who don't understand the industry, and they take us for a ride. At one stage, our offer fell through, so we had to restart the whole thing all over again. Right. And what that meant for us is spending almost 100 hours on home search in a space of 3 weeks. And it's really tough when, there are so many other things we had to do to settle down, come back, discuss with our prospective employers or jobs and stuff of that nature. Very, very difficult time to try and finalize a property. So we got together with Octavian and we created Avasa, right, which is where we believe that everyone who's on this call, but broadly everyone in the globe deserves moving into a new chapter in our life with Zen. So as it is when you're moving countries or you're finishing studies or you're changing jobs, there's a lot of things you have to do, whether it's to do with visas, whether it's to do with job hunt, whether it's actually settling down, meeting your new colleagues, etc. And oftentimes, work catches up very, very quickly. Home search should not be adding to your stress levels at this time. And that's what we are focusing on in terms of getting over. So with that, let me quickly introduce you guys to Octavian, who is here with us on the call. Octavian, please go ahead and share your screen.
Thank you, Mayank, and hello, everyone. So my name is Octavian, like Mayank said. I'm not sure if you already mentioned, actually, my background, it's in real estate agency. I'm an ex-estate agent. So everything what I'm gonna tell you now, actually, a lot of it's inside information what you're not gonna hear elsewhere. So considering that at the moment you are into like a last minute home search approach, here are your options basically. You can just have to do it yourself. That's what the market offers you traditionally. Or you may ask some friends or families or colleagues, especially if you are abroad or if you went abroad for the summer holidays. However, you need to ask yourself how much time actually you do have to invest in your rental home search. Why? Because it will require a lot of time. It does require to be extremely proactive in this market. The market is at all-time high demand from tenants at the moment, so it's a huge imbalance in the supply and demand. So just be aware of that. If you already done some calls to the estate agents, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. The indications are, like Mayank said, now more than ever, they will not answer your calls. They will not return your emails. You will, even if you book a viewing, most of the properties will be gone by the time when you, before you actually be able to reach to see them in person. So be aware of that. This is where the market stands currently. So it's very important for you to understand briefly why is this happening. So we are still in the summer market. Traditionally, the summer market was the busiest throughout the year. In this quarter alone, from July into September, the estate agents, they've done even more than 50% of their annual revenues in these 3 months alone. So that's why traditionally, why that happens, because a lot of international students, they coming to in the UK to study. The students which they just finalized their studies, they're coming out from student halls and now they're looking for private accommodations. Also, family relocations are happening because the schools are starting in September again. And also corporate relocations again, they tend to happen during the summer. So actually all those people, they are your competition until the moment when you actually get the chance to find a rental accommodation. Now, traditionally, the supply also for the summer market was also at all-time high. But this year, since COVID, since 2020, the market shifted, the market changed. 2020, everything was blocked, no international travel was allowed, so everything was postponed since 2021. So that's one of the reasons, together with many more reasons, why it created that huge imbalance between the supply and demand. Now, also, maybe in case that some of you are already joining these webinars and thinking about their rental accommodation. However, they only have a January intake, for example. They will start the school in January. It's also very important to understand what happens during the winter months. So traditionally, during the winter months, you did not have as much demand. People, they just not used to look for properties during the winter months. Why? Again, various reasons. There weren't so many intakes for January, not so many classes starting in January. No corporate locations at that time of the year. Everyone was also busy with the Christmas parties, Christmas holidays, Christmas breaks, going abroad, for example, and also just in general, the days, they are way shorter during during the winter months. So it's obviously, it's cold, it's moldy outside, it's rainy, so you don't really want to go and do viewings during the winter months. So that, because of that, what happened traditionally, estate agents and landlords, they really fought on not having their properties available for the winter months. So that, what that means is that during the winter months, the supply of properties available in the market, it's even less than what you see now. So from now on, moving towards the end of the year, is going to be less and less and less stock available in the market. However, we are discussing with a lot of immigration consultants and visa consultants, and we are aware that there's a huge backlog for students coming in for releasing visas. So we are anticipating that the demand for properties, the demand of international students and professionals arriving in the UK, it will still increase for the coming months. So all that means that actually for you being in the market, you have to look and secure a property at the earliest, because it will still be less stock available, and more and more people looking for the same property. So be aware of that. Now, what I'm gonna share with you today, I'm gonna share with you 3 secrets. Secret number 1, where to start your search and how to identify the properties you're interested in. I'll give you some tips on that, on how you can speed up that process so you don't waste a lot of time. Secret number 2, if you listen to me for the secret number 1 and secret number 2 already, you will save at least 20 hours worth of your time, at least. If you also listen for the secret number 3, you will save much more in terms of money and time. But I'm not gonna spoil now the secret. Okay, secret number 3, actually, I'm gonna show you how to avoid to ever having to call an estate agent again. And if I didn't mention secret number 1, I'm gonna tell you how the agents think and work, so you can easily beat them at their own game. That is crucial. Right. So let's go into the secret number 1. How to identify and view the properties you're interested in. Let's start with where you should start looking for a property, just in case if you're just starting now. Zoopla, Rightmove, on the market, I would say, and also our website. They are reputable websites out there. I will put our website there because we have APIs with these property portals, with the bigger property portals in the UK, and Zoopla, Rightmove, and on the market. Between them 3, they have close to 100% market coverage. So the reason why I'm emphasizing for you to look on these 3 property portals and our property portal and not other property portals, because if you look for the likes at Spare Room or Gumtree, the chances of you to get scammed, it's even it's still high, even in this time of this time and age. Basically, we literally discovered a few weeks ago. One of our clients, she inquired before she got into us, she inquired about the property privately, and she was just about to get scammed. And then she came to us, we discovered, then she signed us up, and we found her a property. But just be aware. Also, how you can identify and ignore likely fake listings. So this is a very, 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 very used method from estate agents. You will call on a property, and I'm sure that most of you have already done that. You will know exactly what happens. You will call on a property, you will inquire about the property, even if that property went on the market yesterday or 2 days ago, and they will tell you the property is just gone. However, they have another one just around the corner, but that around the corner, it tends to be more expensive. So that's a very used trick. The reason why they put that likely fake listings on the market, it's exactly for that reason. So you can call, they put a property which is almost too good to be true, and then they try to shift you whatever they actually have available. So be aware that it's happening. In the next slide, I'm going to tell you how to avoid that. And also, in terms of the decision of doing viewings, you need to be aware. You need to act fast. Like I said, I already give you the reasons why the market is as it is. So you need to reserve as much as possible from your time to be as flexible as possible, also for doing viewings, because reality is in this market, you have to act on it. You cannot think about it. When you get hold of the agent, you have to book a viewing there and then, and most probably you will have to take whatever time slot they're going to give you, even if that actually works well for your schedule for your school or work or whatever it is. Because the market is fast-paced. Again, I'm going to tell you in one of the next slides how you can avoid that and how you can save time on doing that actually. So you don't have to travel, let's say, for 1 hour to do a viewing and then come back to work or to school. Okay, so here, like I mentioned about our Avasa web app, do give us a try. We run searches based on your lifestyle requirements and also based on your commute destination. So instead of you having to know and research postcodes and areas where you have to be, instead you can just put your commute destination, let's say LSE, or you found the job, I don't know, Baker Street, and then 30 minutes commute by either public transport or walk or by bike, and all the other requirements in terms of the number of bedrooms and what have you, and you will get all the areas in the vicinity where you can find properties for your requirements. So that actually works very well. Give us a try. Now, when you are on these property portals, on Zoopla, Rightmove, and on the market or on our Avasa website, make sure you set up the right filters. So in this market, you cannot look at properties which they came on the market. Actually, it's the last 14 days, but we should even upgrade that now. You shouldn't look at properties which they've been on the market for more than 7 days. Why? The chances for give me just 1 sec. Can you mute the participants, please? Okay, thank you. Right. So why you should not look for properties older than 7 days? Because I already told you the market is crazy busy, so you need to ask yourself, why on earth would the property stay on the market for so long? It's not going to stay on the market for so long. You will fall back into the same trap I just told you a few minutes ago, into the click and bait approach of the estate agents. So in order for you to find the most accurate results, you have to set up the requirements at the first time when you search, last 7 days, and then start searching on 24-hour last 24-hour results. You should look at the market daily and set up only the properties which they come on the market in the last 24 hours. That will increase the chances in the first stage, at least to see properties which they are still available, which they are still on the market. If you don't set this filter, I can assure you, you will call for 50 properties and none of them are going to be available. And you will also get a false impression of the market and how many options actually you will have available in the market, when the actual results, the reality is completely different. There will only be a handful of properties, perhaps. Okay, and also the other filters like furnished or unfurnished, that's a given. Now on the price range, when you set up the filters, always go slightly more than what you're willing to pay. Why? Because this is going to give you a different perspective. You will see how or what you can get for the money if you are willing to increase the budget, or it may as well you will find the right property for, I don't know, for an extra 50 pounds. So that's why it's very important. If let's say you're looking for a property at the 2-bed property at 2,000, look what's available on the market for 2,250, because you will just expose yourself to more results. Now, if it does happen that you have a pet and you're relocating with a pet, then I'm here to give you some bad news. There are only 7% of landlords in the UK who accept pets in their property. So it's extremely hard to find pet-friendly properties. If you are a pet owner, the only thing what you can do is you have to just build those relations with the estate agents. Whenever you call and if the property is not pet-friendly, then you just have to make sure that they remember your name and to let you know first when a new property becomes available. If you are to set up the filters, you will see in most of the areas you will get 0 results. So you cannot rely on the filters what you see on the property portals. You just have to be proactive and call and see what's available and build that relations. Okay. Now, in this market, it's not advisable, but it is common nowadays. So be aware about the possibility of doing live video call viewings instead of in-person viewings. So obviously, the number one, if you can go in person, go in person. But if you cannot go in person for some reason, point number 2 should be you should do a live video call viewing. Again, on the live video call viewing, it's a bit tricky. It depends who's showing you the property. If it's the estate agents, you need to take it with a pinch of salt. If the estate agent is going to show you everything was relevant with the property and also the good, bad, and ugly. Actually, with our services, which I'm gonna disclose more to you later, we do have this service where we provide live video call viewings to our clients, to our paid clients. And during those live video call viewings, we actually tell you everything about the property. So the good part is that you don't have to. Let's say if you work, I don't know, in Zone 1 UK or in East London and you want to see a property in West London for some reason, you don't have to travel 1 hour only to see a property for 10-15 minutes and then travel back 1 hour. And maybe that property is not even relevant for some reason. So actually, you can just go in one corner and we do these calls with you and we show you everything on a live video call tour. We start the viewings from outside the property. We tell you everything about that if it's any like a street noise level, how is it? If there are any roadworks around, if it's any scaffolding on the building, or anything what can create, what can affect your well-being in the property. also inside the property. And I suggest you should do the same if you do in-person viewing. Check, not just check for the furniture. If it's okay, this is a big couch or a big fridge. The big fridge matters, but it's more than that. Check for any signs of mold in the property. Check for the water pressure. Check for the windows if they are double glazed or single glazed, because that's gonna affect you especially during the winter months. That's gonna show in your winter bill. So that's also something what we do for our clients. So and the third part, so the first one, like I said, it's in-person viewing. It's obviously the best what you can do, but not the most time efficient in this market. So the next one up is doing the live video call viewings. Again, depends on who you're doing this live video calls viewing with. And then the third one, if the worst comes to worst, it's a video recording. That video recording, most of the agents nowadays, especially since COVID, they have video recordings for the properties. So that you should ask them to send you the video recording, at least so you can take a better informed decision if you should waste the time on actually going to an in-person viewing. But it's not recommendable just to take a property only based on the pictures, just on a live video recording, if you can go in person. Right. So if you have any questions, now is the time to drop them into the chat, and I will pick them up. I will have a short Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So if you can think of any questions, now is the time to already start to drop them into the chat, and we'll pick them up at the end. Right. Secret number 2. Just gonna drink a bit of water. So how do agents think and work, and how to easily beat them at their own game? So if for some reason, by the way, I'm a very fast talker, so I apologize for that. If for some reason you lost interest on what we've been doing here so far, I know it can happen also myself when I'm checking a webinar. At some point I can get a bit not as interested for some reason. However, now is the time to gain back your attention. Why? Because if you listen to this secret, and from here onwards, you're gonna save at least 20 hours of your time. That's a guarantee. Right. So firstly, we need to understand who is the estate agent working for. The estate agent is not working for you. The estate agent is working for the landlord. That's the reason why he doesn't charge you money, is because he's charging the landlord the money. The landlord is the client. The tenants, they are just applicants for the estate agents. So what does it mean for you? That means that as higher rent you pay, and as longer contract you sign, like a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract, as more commission they're gonna do on the back of you, and as happy their landlord is gonna be. But all that is at your expense. So you need to start with that in mind. Whatever the estate agent tells you, you need to take it with a pinch of salt. Now, like I mentioned, I think we already covered this in the previous slide, but these are some of the tricks what happens when you call the estate agents. This is the most used one. So whenever they're gonna try to shift you into another property, whenever you call, they will say that the property you inquire about is not available. Now I showed you how we can minimize the chances for you to see the properties only the last 24-hour properties. In that case, the chances for those properties to be available, it's way higher. Now we go a bit more deeper. So I'm gonna actually tell you how you need to approach that call if you reach that stage where you call on a property and it's not available, and the agent wants to push you into something else. Then because of this market is as crazy as it is, you need to take your chances. So engage the conversations and say, okay, Mr. Agent, I appreciate the property is not available. So what else you have for me then? In quite a few cases, they will say that they don't have details of the property. Why? Because they want to get you out to do a viewing and try to close you on that property there and there on the field. However, here is a time where they can actually waste you a lot of time. So here is where you can start asking, okay, Mr. Agent, so tell me the price. Tell me the full address. At least you have those ones. Or have you seen the property yourself, Mr. Agent? How is the property comparing with the one which I inquire about? Is it a lower quality? Is it the better quality? Which one is it? Try to gain as much as possible information before you commit your time to go out and do a blind viewing. That's very, very important. Also, there will be estate agents out there which they are They are even more, I mean, they will also be the other ones, actually, how to identify the ones which they don't know what they're talking about. When they say, when you call about the property and you see that they are hesitant or they're blabbering or not giving specific answers, the chances are that the property you inquire about, it's gone. And then they don't know yet how, they don't have the right experience on how to shift you into another property. However, there are even more savvy estate agents out there, which they will say, yes, the property you inquire about, it's available. And I also have 3, 4, 5 other options, which I can show you. Meet me tomorrow at the office. And then you're super enthusiastic thinking, now is the day, you're going to cancel all your plans. You're going to cancel, I don't know, the school, which you just started, the courses, the job, you're going to take a day off, a holiday day from the job, and you're just going to go there and you're going to do viewings with the estate agents because he told you that, that actually he has all the right properties for you. And then when you arrive there, just guess what? The property you inquire about, you just went 5 minutes ago. Same thing. However, he has the other 5 properties to show you. Now, at this stage, you already got super enthusiastic about it. You didn't ask the details about the other properties. And guess what? You will have now at least half of day of wasting your time, again, on in most cases, seeing nonsensical properties, maybe more expensive properties or very rundown properties, just whatever they have in their stock. Because remember, estate agents, they can just work with whatever they have in their books. And they only have a handful of properties in their books, basically. That's the hardest part of the job for them to get instructions. Now, what you can do in this particular case, again, if that happens, you say, okay, Mr. Agent, again, you go to the details. So what else do you have? Where are the addresses? What are the prices? Let me Google Map. Let me do some research. The next day, this is very important. The next day, just before you leave your house, just before you cancel the other plans, call the estate agent and say again, hey, Mr. Agent, I'm about to go to see you. I just want to double check, is the property I initially inquired about, is that still available? Because that's my first priority. And if he says yes, then go and meet him or her. If he says no, then you need to reevaluate your options based on how much information you have already. If it's worth investing your time and going out there and do multiple viewings with the estate agents. Right. Also, what tends to happen when you're already doing the viewing? You will hear a lot of shoulds, could, mays. It should come with this sofa. It may come with the sofa. The moving date may be negotiated, or it could be negotiated, or we could, I don't know, even negotiate the price. They will say whatever you want to hear until they get an offer from you. That is the reality. So be aware from estate agents which they don't give you specific answers. With them, it's always very, very gray. It's never black and white. But you need to, especially when you're about to commit for a property, you need to look for black and white answer. Is it yes or it's a no? Why is it important? Because if you reach the offer stage and you already committed with a holding deposit, then it's gonna be hard to track them down because they will consider you a done deal. And then you will have to chase for each point you didn't clarify properly prior you committing with money. So that's why it's extremely important for you to put everything into an email, to track everything and to put everything into an email. So even when you put an offer forward or whatever it is, to say, okay, as we discussed during the viewing, I want that particular sofa, which we've seen at the moment of viewing, I want that to come as well. Or whatever it is, just to make sure you are explicit as possible, so you don't leave any stones unturned.
You can
Here's
come
actually, Mike, do you want to put the persons on mute? Okay, and this is actually a bonus for you on what happens during the offer stage. Here is how you can craft a good offer. So, firstly, heads up. In this market, a lot of estate agents, they will ask for longer-term contracts. So it's very common now to ask for at least a 2-year contract with no break clause. It's not advisable. You should always aim for at least a 1-year break clause. 6 months is not going to be entertained in this market, a 1 year with a 6-month break clause, but a 1-year contract or a 2-year with a 1-year break clause, it's much more doable and preferable and advisable for the tenants. Again, this is an inside information. The reasons why the estate agents, they will always push for a 2-year contracts, because one, the rents, they are super high at the moment. It's a huge demand from tenants. and they can. If you're not gonna go for that 2 year, maybe someone else, the next person is gonna go for the 2 year contract. But what actually happens during that 2 year contract? Because they will tell you whatever. They will tell you that the landlord prefers this and the landlord prefers that. But the reality is, if you sign a 1 year contract as a tenant, or you sign a 2 year contract with no break clause, on that 2 year contract itself, the estate agent is gonna double their commission. So that is the main reason why they're pushing you for a long-term tenancy. From your side, if you don't have any other options, by all means, you have to go with a 2 year tenancy. But in general, you want to go with a 2 year with 1 year break clause at least. And even that break clause, again, even that is a gray area. The agents, they will say, yes, it's a 1 year break clause. And then actually you only have the visa for 1 year. Or actually you only have the course for 1 year. And actually after that time, you want to go back home if you are an international student. Even then you have to pay attention. Why? Because in their mind, they may say, actually, I said 12 months, but only after 12 months you can give 2 months notice. So that's why even ourselves, for our clients, when we craft the offers on their behalf, because that's also part of our service what we offer for our clients, we actually do it that way. 2 months mutual notice. So it's not like only the landlord that he can give me notice. I can also give notice myself at any point of time after whatever. For example, if it's a 1 year tenancy, after 10 months into the tenancy. And then you know, like, for sure that at the 12 months you can exit the property. Otherwise, it's still a gray area, and it can be used against you if you don't formulate the offer correctly. Again, the furnishing part, I kind of cover it, but it's important for you to have that in the offer. So if you do a live video call viewing, you have to say furnished as seen on the live video call viewing. And if you sense that the agent is not sure about certain things, and you give it like, yeah, it should be all right for you to get the sofa as well, or it would be all right, put it in the offer email. So at least you have something to refer back that actually they agreed based on these terms. And then it's on them if you didn't provide your sofa. Okay. And then also the payment structure. So again, here, a lot of tenants, they actually don't know, especially a lot of students in your particular case, because I know here we have a lot of students. They only hear about 6 months rent up front, but they don't know what happens after the 6 months. A lot of them, they think that after the 6 months, they can pay monthly, which is not the case. Usually, how the payment structure works for students, firstly, you can either, in order for you to be eligible to rent a property in the UK, because you don't have a credit score and you don't have a work employment yet. If you don't have work employment, you have to pay in advance or use a UK-based guarantor. If, let's say, I'm addressing now to some of you here who already exited their university and you already have a job offer, then you may get away with monthly payments instead. So whichever way you are. But let's focus for the moment on the traditional students with the 6 months rent up front. I'm not going to cover the UK guarantor part in this webinar because it's too much to talk about, but we do have an ebook. So reach out to us at the end of the call, and I'm happy to share with you the ebook for that. Now, 6 months rent up front, actually, how it works is, if let's say you do a 1 year tenancy agreement, you have to pay 6 months rent up front plus 5 weeks deposit. That's a security deposit, and that's registered with the government protection scheme, and it will be refunded to you at the end of the tenancy if you don't do any damage in the property. And then the second, you have to pay in 6 monthly installments. Actually, this is what no one tells you. The second 6 months, actually, you have to pay it at the 4th or 5th month into the tenancy agreement. Depends on the estate agents. So you actually, instead of you thinking that you're going to pay monthly, you have to budget that as well, that you have to pay the second 6 month chunk in actually a chunk rather than monthly payments. Okay, so that's also something which is fairly overlooked. Now we're reaching to secret number 3: how to avoid ever having to call an estate agent again. Sorry guys, I have a bit of a cough, so hopefully you heard me clearly throughout this this webinar. But yeah, here we are now. So the secret number 3 is pretty simple. If you don't want to go through all the pain, what some of you already know that you have to go through, if you already start to do the work, I'm sure that some of you out there, you are desperate already because you think, okay, gosh, there are just no properties. I can't get hold of the estate agent. I keep missing out. I offer us asking price and I still got rejected. I offer over the asking price and I still got rejected. I'm abroad. I cannot keep on calling each agent. I send them emails and ever reply to me. What I'm gonna do now? Temporary accommodation is actually, it's obviously very expensive. So it's pretty simple. Appoint us, appoint Avasa for your home search, so we can take over the workload from your shoulders. So our services, if it wasn't clear, our services are paid directly by the tenants, because a tenant for us is the client, comparing with everyone else in the market. And if you may have heard any other prop tech business, like we call ourselves a prop tech business. If you ever heard any other prop tech players or real estate players claiming that they do it for tenants and they do it for free, that's a BS right there. Because if whatever is free, then it's actually you are the it's on you how they make the money. They're just gonna sell you as a lead, again, just to different groups, whoever is the higher bidder, basically, on the other side. So it's never free. So just to make sure that we clear that out. So coming back, this is what we offer with our services for our tenants, for our clients in this case. we offer a personalized onboarding call. We discuss exactly about your needs. We go to the nitty-gritty, what's realistic, what's not realistic, what sort of areas you should look for based on your requirements. We give you an overview about how the market is progressing at the moment in your particular area. And also we can help you with daily curated property list based on your requirements. So you don't have to do searches, only if you want to. But we do all the searches for you. Also, we can, depends where you are. If you are abroad, we can facilitate live video call viewing, so we can help you secure a property, hopefully before you arrive in the UK, by doing everything what I told you, giving you all the information, sending one of our partners in the property, showing you everything and every corner about the property, all the good, bad, and ugly, so you can take an informed decision about the property, if it's worth pursuing or not. Or if you are here in the UK, again, you don't have to call the estate agents. Like I said, that's one of the secret sauces, because we do all that for you, and we just book you into the viewings. So you're just gonna show at the property at the right time what you choose and do the viewing. You have all your details in your calendar. We're gonna manage your diary. You're just gonna tell us when you're available, and then we're gonna do the mix and match with the properties you want to see. And also, not just that, the market, like I said, is super crazy. We're gonna help you. We're gonna guide you how to offer. We're gonna tell you what to offer. We're gonna call the estate agents on your behalf to understand what is the landlord motivation and how much competition we have. And based on that, and also based on your motivation as well, and how much time we have left until your moving date, and how many other options you may have available, we're gonna help you to craft the best offer. And also, we'll also offer you tenancy agreement lease review. Why? Because we've seen it in the past. There can be some very unfriendly clauses for tenants out there. And if you're not an expert, and you shouldn't be, you should just find the property and get on with your life. But it can, even those clauses, it's a legally binding contract, and it can come back and bite you if you don't pay attention and you don't understand the clauses. So we review the tenancy agreement. If something is unfriendly, we're gonna challenge you with the estate agent. If everything is all right, we will still tell you what clauses to watch out throughout the tenancy and what to do throughout the tenancy, so it doesn't come back and bite you and take money from that deposit, the landlord to take money from the 5 weeks deposit at the end of the tenancy. We'll tell you all that, so you are looked after. So everything what we do, actually, like it does stops when you sign the tenancy agreement, but all the value what we provide actually is going to help you throughout the tenancy. And lastly, we will also be setting the utilities in your name for you. We have an exclusive partner who can put all the utilities and help you to find the best, like even insurance, home insurance, or the Wi-Fi internet providers. They will be able to help you to connect all that, again, including this package. So if it wasn't clear, here is how you can save time and money by working with us. You can minimize time spent in short-term accommodation, which, like you know, is very, very expensive. You don't have to chase any estate agents or properties yourself. You don't have to waste any time, basically. Just to pick the properties what we select for you, we're gonna do the calls for you. We're gonna check what properties they are still available. We're gonna book you into the viewings, and we're gonna help you with everything else what I just explained there. So if you're thinking, okay, is this service for me? I'm still not so sure. I don't know. It sounds like it's a white glove service. Reality is that it is a white glove service, although we've made it very accessible for everyone. Actually, we didn't reinvent the wheel. This type of service, a part of this service actually, does happen in the market. The traditional relocation agents, they did tend to have that, but they have it only for high executives, and it costs in excess of, I don't know, it can cost from 4,000 to 10,000, 15,000 pounds worth of money for a particular search. So us, with the help of technology and knowledge and being innovative, we managed to do that, to crack that for everyone who can use the services in a white glove experience. So just some case studies here. 3 sharers from India we had recently. They want an easy commute to the uni. They wanted a 3-bed and 3-bath. Again, some of them, in this particular case, they didn't want to pay the 6 months rent upfront, although we educate them about the market. They lost on one offer, then they came to the realization of how the market is. Very quick, we managed to turn around based on that. Because again, we're working with people from everywhere in the globe. So I don't want to give a case studies only being like extreme, everything to be 100% accurate and just happy endings. There are hiccups, there are ups and downs. There are people coming from various parts of the world which they have no real experience on how the UK rental market is progressing, in which case it takes some time for us to educate the people and for them to experience actually how the market is progressing. But happy ending, after a Friday night mad negotiation with the estate agents, we managed to secure them the right property for them. Also, couple from US, they came at London Business School. One of the partners was working. Again, they wanted the easy commute. They wanted the property ready to move at their arrival. Space and light was primary considerations, and we managed to find them whatever they wanted in 10 days. So it can be as fast as that, as long as there's going to be a constant communication between us. We are the leading experts in the area. So as long as you have reasonable requirements, the reality is that, and you are reasonable about the situation of the market currently, you are in the best hands what you can be working with Avasta, working with us. This is the type of feedback that we receive. Excellent experience, that's what we strive for. So this is what we covered. I showed you how to identify the properties you are interested in, how to set up the filters, how to make sure that you minimize the chances for you to waste time on seeing properties which have been long gone on the market. I also show you how you can save time and money, and how to carry the conversations, and what to do when you call the estate agents, when you have discussions with the estate agents, and at the viewing stage. And I also showed you the way out. If you don't want to go through the painful process, here is the way out. Now, if you are ready to take your home search to the next level, we have a free relocation consultation call. So these are no strings attached consultation call. In this consultation call, we'll give you a personalized home search strategy based on your specific requirements. We'll answer any questions you have about your rental search, maybe a question that you don't want to add into this call. We'll give you market insights and updates. We'll also give you a special offer as an intro, and we'll tell you more about the service and how we can help you should you want to become our client. So this is the link for the free exploratory call. And now I'm just going to pass it back to Mayank to tell you also, if some of you already, you say, okay, I'm ready to sign up with you guys. I just want to show you exactly, just so it's there. You don't have to come on the call to know where you stand with us. You may be a bit like, okay, I'm not sure. You know, these guys, they want to sell me into something. It's here. Mayank is going to tell you now exactly what our service is. And for whoever it's ready and they want to work with us, from my side, I'm looking forward to see you on the other side. I guess now, Mayank, I'm going to pass it back to you. Is that correct?
Please go to the next page. No worries. If you can leave the screen on.
Sorry. Okay.
So thanks. And I have a couple of questions for you in the chat. So let me cover the next section, and then I can ask those to you. So we put this all together very quickly, given the requests came to us in the last 48 hours. But broadly, there are three ways we can help you. Something that we call as basic, where we do some of the work, you do a lot of the work, and that already kind of takes you pretty far. And on the other extreme, there's an international where we do everything and you just kind of make the right decisions in order to move super quick on the property. So if you are going for the basic, which is the column right in the middle, we can start with the onboarding call. Octavian referred to the daily results you see in your inbox. You can get on regular daily calls with our Sherpa. So Octavian or someone in his team who can guide you about specific steps you have to take. And we include 2 live video viewings as well. So if you're working or if you're on campus or if you're still overseas, we can send 2 people for someone in the property for you for 2 properties, and they can show you a live telecast. And then finally, booking the utilities, internet, etc. So you don't have to waste any time on any of that. So in combination, the value for all of this comes out to be £526. But again, for this webinar, especially, we have an offer of £249. You don't have to pay anything right now, but if you like, you can take a screenshot of this page. And when you connect with us, just let us know that you are on this webinar and we can offer these price points to you. The second offer we have is for the mainland. And I recognize a few names here, people who are in the UK already. And they may not need the full white glove treatment and they can kind of do part of the work by themselves. So again, we start with the daily, the personalized onboarding call for you. We do the automated calls, automated results, sorry. And there's weekly curated lists where our team actually does the searches for you and tells you some recommendations twice a week. And the same construct in terms of daily calls with our Sherpa so that you can ask any additional questions in there. We book appointments for you. So we book up to 8 appointments for you, which you can go directly by yourself. Obviously, you don't need our support to go inside the property. We do the offer and lease review, and we book internet, utilities, etc. So the total value for all of this is £999, but we are offering this for £599 for you. And finally, the international plan. This is for people who are still overseas and they need the whole end-to-end support, including viewings inside the property, live video viewings, etc. So we cover the all of the points we have discussed basically in basic and mainland with some specific caps. But effectively, the total value for all of that comes out to be £1,400. But again, because you're on this webinar, we will charge only £899 for you for this one. Just a quick note, I think it's not visible on the screen fully, but the VAT is additional to these prices that you see on the screen. Octavian, if you could go to the next slide, please. And finally, just a quick note, given how busy the market is, we are also super busy at the moment. So at the moment, we are taking only 10 new clients for the mainland or international package. So if you're here in the UK already, I think mainland is the one that works the best for you. If you're overseas, probably international may work the best for you, but we are taking only 10 clients at the moment for one of those 2. But if you are going for the basic, by all means, come on over. We can help you out very, very easily, not an issue. So I'll stop here. Octavian, do we have a slide, I think, with just the link to the book consultation form? There you go. So leave this one open so people can copy it, and I will shoot some questions to you that have come in the chat. So first one is from Emmanuel asking, how does the tenancy agreement work? So I think he's asking about when do you sign it, who signs it, etc.
Okay, so yeah, the tenancy agreement is literally the last part. So you obviously start with the search, viewings, offer, then you go to the referencing process, and then you sign the tenancy agreement. The question is fairly vague, but yes, I just want to reemphasize that actually signing the tenancy agreement is you are signing a legally binding contract. So that's extremely important, and that is even the reason why I'm telling you, you have to be sure on what you're getting, especially if you are to get, like I explained, to get a property only on pictures only by seeing a link. It's not like, okay, I'm just gonna go in the property, I'm gonna reserve it, make sure that I'm not losing out, and then if for some reason I don't like it, I'm just gonna move out. It doesn't work like that. The landlords and the estate agents, they're gonna hold you liable to keep on paying rent until they find someone else on your behalf. And the reality is they will never bother to find someone else. Why? Because they already made the commission on you. And even if they are to look to find someone else, they will look for the ideal client at the ideal price. Why? Because the search and it's at your expense, basically. Until they find someone, that waiting time to find the right ideal candidate is going to be at your expense. So be aware of that. So I think that tells you how important is the tenancy agreement. Any other follow-up question, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one is a question from Marina, and it says, is there any difference between the documentation that I need to provide if I come from UK or another country?
So the documentation in general is the same. You have to provide, just very quick, I'm going to go through the documentation. Regardless if you're coming from abroad, you still need to provide, obviously, the passport and visa. If you've got a job offer, you have to provide a job offer. If you have you enroll for the university, you have to provide a reference letter from the university, an acceptance letter, that was the word. And then you have to provide last 3 months bank statements, which even if it's from an overseas bank account. In some cases, landlord or character reference, even if it's from an overseas landlord. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, so even if it's from an overseas accounts, basically, you still have to provide them into the UK. And usually, like I said, if you don't have any UK employment, you still have to pay 6 months rent upfront. However, the reference is what I just explained. They still applying even for the 6 months rent upfront.
Thanks. Next question is from Steph. What is a break clause?
Yeah, so the break clause is when you can actually, it's a clause in the tenancy agreement which allows you to leave the property. So if, let's say, we take the example with the 2-year with the 1-year break clause, that means that you have a tenancy agreement for a 2-year, which is you can stay in the property for 2 years. However, after the first year in the tenancy agreement, if you formulate it like I said to formulate it, 2 months, 2 months mutual notice at any point of time after 10 months into the tenancy, that means that at any point of time after the 10 months in the tenancy, as long as you give that 2 months notice, you will be able to leave the flat. So that doesn't mean that if you, if let's say it comes month 13 and you didn't activate the break clause at the 12 months or at the 10 months, you will still be able to give 2 months notice, and then after that you can move out at the 15 months into the tenancy. So that break clause is just like an exit clause basically from the tenancy agreement. Legally, exit clause, which can be applied. If you don't have the break clause, however, then you're not going to be able to leave the tenancy agreement. Only if the landlord or the estate agents, they're going to replace you, and then that applies for what I explained a few minutes ago, where they're not going to bother to replace you so soon.
Thanks. One more question from Emmanuel. What is open rent?
Yes, open rent. So that's yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking what to say about them, and to be as gentle as possible. A few years ago, we've been actually promoting open rent website, because reality is that there are private landlords out there which they are advertising properties via open rent to all these big property portals like Zoopla, Rightmove on the market. So if they are actually, open rent is a platform where private landlords, they advertising properties. Now, the good thing about them is that they have more information. So for example, you can see which properties they are pet friendly, which ones they are not, which properties they accept students, which ones they are not. On the ordinary websites, none of it is going to be explained. You just have to find out yourself whenever you call the estate agents and you manage to get through to them. So that's the positive about open rent. I would also say that in some cases, you may be able to find the prices slightly better because there's no agent involved. So you have that commission margin, the private landlords, to play with, considering that you don't have an agent involved. However, the bad thing about them is that they've made it in such a way that it's they can just handpick the inquiries what they want. And in quite a lot of cases, they never get back to you. So you may say, okay, this is the best property. I'm even thinking about offering over the asking price. And then you just have a robot talking with you and asking if you are a student or a professional. Because you're a student, you're not gonna lie, you are a student, you press 2, and you never get a call back only because you're a student, perhaps. So that's the negative about openrent. But apart from that, if you manage to get through to them, then it's a good platform. But yeah, otherwise I wouldn't fully rely only on them. I wouldn't. By all means, one thing, if just, I know that some people who found properties on openrent years and years ago, they're talking highly about it, and we did as well. And even now, nothing bad about it. Just that they don't reply. So if you are thinking that you are in the market out there and you're fully relying only on openrent because you can find better options, then that's a suicide. So you have to be on all the other property portals.
Excellent, thanks. One more question has come in from Mahita, saying, when should I start my home search? What is the ideal duration?
Yeah, that's probably, I mean, all the other ones, they're relevant answers by all questions by all means, but this is by far the best question what a tenant can ask, because on the back of that, then they have time to ask and find out, even on their own skin, the answers for all the other questions. If you start, let's say, 1 week before your moving date, and you have so many questions, it's going to be a nightmare for you to find the property because you are not market ready. The answer is you have to start your rental search at least with 2 months in advance. Why? Because then you get the chance to get market ready. What do I mean by that? You will get the chance to explore properties maybe even before they are not available for your moving date, where you can start to get a sense, where do you get the value for money? What sort of area makes sense? What doesn't make sense? Do I have a realistic budget for this area? Or do I need to look for alternative areas? Or what do I need to pay to stay in this area, which is desirable for me? So all that's what I'm saying. All that, you will get the chance to prepare yourself in the market to prepare yourself. You even get the chance maybe to do some silly mistakes on offering a lower than the asking price offer in this market. We're dealing with people from everywhere in the world. They may think, actually, if in my market works to offer lower than the asking price, then it may work as well here. We've seen these people. And then even if you lose on that property, the chances are for you to get another good property, it's high. But if you only have one chance, one property, 1 week until your moving date, and you don't get that property, then you're in a very, very, very bad position. So even actually, Mahita, you are spot on with your question. Even if you didn't get anything else from this webinar, and don't know when it's your moving date for most of you, but let's say some of you here are looking to move in January or later in the year, the best advice that we can always give is to start the search early. Early means at least 2 months in advance.
Yeah, and I'll just add one more point here. So as you saw in one of the case studies, it is sometimes possible to find a property in 10 days after your onboarding call when you're working with us. But just remember, we are the experts in the market. We have done this. Octavian has personally helped over 2,000 people find a property in the UK, right? So that's not the thinking that you can get a property in a week's time is not the stuff for the faint-hearted. It's not for this stuff, not built for, that process is not built for someone who has never done this search before, right? So just be mindful that 1 week you can find something which is extremely stressful, and you will probably just be able to find something that absolutely no one else wanted in the market, right? So if you want to give yourselves proper time, 2 months time, definitely. Anything that's lesser than 4 weeks or 2 weeks is kind of, you're putting yourself in a very tight spot. Okay, I think with that, there are no other questions, Octavian. So thank you everyone for joining this call. For those of you who are still here, and I saw some people come in through the, while we were in the middle of the presentation, we will upload this presentation on our Facebook page by early tomorrow morning. So if you want to catch the first half of the presentation that you missed, please go on Avasa AI's Facebook page and you can see it tomorrow. Thank you again, everyone, and hope to see you, some of you or all of you, on our consultation call very soon.